Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's challenging level puzzle, and it's called Rat Run 51 Years Later by Marty Sears. And here are the rules. We have to fill the grid with the digits 0 through 3 so that each digit appears twice in every row, column, and marked 4x2 box, designated 8-cell regions here. So this is not normal Sudoku rules. We have to fill the grid with fill every cell in the grid with the digits 0 through 3 such that every digit appears twice. Every digit from 0 through 3 appears twice in every row, column, and designated 8-cell region. That's the way I would put it, but this works also the way that the rules work are put. So this is another way of putting it, I guess I would say. Right, so only digits 0 through 3. Keep that in mind. We have to appear twice there. We need to reconstruct the maze by drawing thick walls around certain cell edges. Okay. The wall around the maze perimeter has been drawn already. So we have to draw some cells here, which are walls, but we don't know. We don't have that yet. Circles. The digit in a circle indicates how many of that cell's 4 edges contains a wall. So a digit in a circle indicates how many. So for example, if this were, say, a 3, that means 3 of the edges, well, we would celebrate because we have 3 cells, but 3 of the edges around that circle have to be walls. So you could have a wall here, or you could have a wall here. Either of those work if this were a 3. So that's how circles work. The finished maze must have a valid route from the red R, which is here, to the blue C cupcake. So the red R is the rat, and the blue C is the cupcake, without passing through any walls or visiting any cell more than once. No diagonal moves are possible in this maze due to the brown wall spots on the corners of cells. So you cannot go diagonally going from here to here. You could then have something like this possible. This is valid, right? Because it goes straight through. As a possibility. But again, you cannot go diagonally in this puzzle. But you cannot do that. That's not allowed. And you could do something crazy like, I don't know, something like this. But as long as it doesn't go through, visit any cell more than once, right? So this is a valid path going from the rat to the cupcake. And that's the path that we have. We have one-way doors where an edge containing a purple arrow okay, so these are all purple arrows, does not contain a wall. So there cannot be a wall here. There cannot be a wall here. That's not allowed. And it sits between 2 different digits with the arrow pointing toward the smaller digit. An arrow can only be passed through in the direction that it's pointing. So that's the reason why this doesn't work. Because you would go through the arrow in the wrong direction, right? It has to go from the rat to the cupcake. So if it were trying to go that way, it goes through the arrow in the opposite direction, which is not allowed. Also, the arrow acts as a constraint where basically the smaller of the two digits must be, sorry, this digit on one side of the arrow must be greater than the one that is on the other side. So this could be something like 0 and 2. That would be valid because the 0 is obviously less than the 2. What it cannot be is something like 2 and 2 because then this digit is not less than this digit, which is not allowed. And finally, we have the test constraint, where adjacent digits along the path must sum to at least 3. Okay, so at least 3. So that means you can never have 0 and 2 or 0 and 1 along the path that share an edge with each other, right? So say the path went something like here. This can never be 2 and 0 because that adds up to only 2, whereas adjacent digits on the path must sum to at least 3. Okay. And those are all the rules. If you like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay. So every circle has a certain amount of walls around it. This is 2 or 3. This is less than that. So it could be... Okay, so this has to get to the cupcake, it has to go this way. Because it can't go this way ever. So this is obviously not a wall. This then... let's mark those as green cells. So that's probably... Oh, this is... That's not easy to see. Let's mark it as red cells. Okay, red cells are easier to see. So red is going to be the path. Let's see. So this has at least 1. So this, and it's less, well, it doesn't have to be less than that. It's 1, 2, or 3, right? This cell is less than that, so it could be 0, 1. It cannot be 0. It's 1, 2. And it must be less than that because it has 1. So every cell on the edge can have 1, 2, or 3. Any circle, sorry, on the edge has to have 1, 2, or 3 as the digits that, well, it's number of walls that are surrounding that digit. This is less than that, so this can't be 3, this can't be 1 because of that. This must be greater than that. So this has to be 0, and this has to be 0 because we don't have any other place for zeros in row 1. Because this has to be greater than this, so this is 1, 2, or 3. This must be 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, or 3. This is at least 2 or 3. This is at least 2 or 3. We have 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, or 3. This could... Okay, we have 2 zeros in... Whoa. We have 2 zeros in the upper right-hand box, or box 2. That means the rest of the cells cannot be 0. It's 1, 2, or 3. This digit must be less than this, so this cannot be 3, and this cannot be 1. This digit is less than that, so this cannot be 3, and this can't be 1. So one of these, 2 of these have to be 0. This is less than that, so this is 0, 1, or 2. At least 2 of these are 0. Okay. Hmm. Can this ever actually be 2? I don't think so, right? If this were 2, you would guarantee 0 and 0 here. Therefore, this would be no wall, and this would have to have no wall also, and that's not possible. So this has to be 0, 1. Can this be 1? It could be 1. You could have a wall being here between these two, and then no walls here. So we'll guarantee 2 out of these 3 are 0. Well, that means there's no wall between these two guaranteed. Because it could be both 0 or these are both 0. Either way, this has to be 0 here. This digit must be greater than that. So it cannot be 0. It's 1, 2, or 3. Where is the 0 possible in column 8? It has to be here. So this is 0. These could be 0 here, though. This is greater than that. So we have 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 0. This can't be 0. So this has to be at least 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I missed those. So this is not 3. This is 2 or 3 there. We have, where are the zeros in row 8? It has to be here and here. Because this must be greater than that. This must be greater than that, so it cannot be 0. These have a wall on the edge, so it's at least 1. So they can't be 0, so this must be 0. Which means 0 has to be in box 7, one of those two. And the rest of box 8 must be 1, 2, and 3. This digit must be... This digit must be less than that, so it cannot be 3. This can't be 1, therefore. We have one of these 3 is a 0. This digit is greater than that. So this is greater than that, which is greater than that. So this must be less than... So this has to be 1 or 2, which means this can't be 1. That's 2 or 3. And this is 0 or 1 here. This digit's less than that, so this is 0 or 1. 2 or 3 to 1 or 2 to 0 or 1. This digit's greater than that, so 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. This digit's greater than that, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. This is 1, 2, 3 also. At least 2 of these are 1. So I don't think this can ever be 3. If this is 3, this would have to force that to be 1 and 1, because there's no other place for 1 in column 8. Which means that these would not have walls here and would not have a wall between that. So this can never be 3. It's 1 or 2. Um... This has to be 2. Because this is not a wall. It cannot go this way through to get to the cupcake, and it has to get to the cupcake, so it has to go through here, and arrows are not walls. So this has to be 2. So this is 2, which means this is less than that, so it must be 1. So that means none of these are walls. I guess we mark it as green. None of those are walls. So obviously, none of these... maybe I should mark it with pink. Maybe we should just not mark those. Okay. So this cannot be 3, a full 3 here. So this is 1 or 2 because this is not a wall. This is not a wall. Right, so it's 1 or 2. Okay. Hmm. This... Um... Hmm. We only have 2 places for 3 in row 1, and it has to be here. So this is 3, this is 3, which means it has to go this way, because this has to have 3 walls around it. So we have wall here, here, and here. So it has to go this way. It's 3 and 1. It cannot go this way, because if it went that way, that would not add up to 3 or more. So it has to go this way. So that goes this way. This has to enter here, and it has to exit some way. And this... So this is not a wall. This is not a wall. This therefore must be 2. So this has to be 2. This is less than it, so it's 1. That's 0. So the 2 walls have to be here. So therefore, this must go this way. It cannot go this way because, or this way, because that adds up to less than 3. So it has to go that way. So then these are done. This cannot be 1. It has to be 2. And in this box, where is the possible 3s? It has to be here. So that's 3. Greater than 2. So this has 3 walls. So then you have wall... wait, no, that's not true. It's not a circle. Never mind. This has 1 wall. And it cannot be... These cannot be walls because it must go through. This is not a wall because it's a door. So this is a wall there. This has 2 walls. That's fine. This has... Could be 0 walls. It could be 1 wall or 2 walls. That's fine. This has 1, 2 walls, so this is 2. So this is 2, which forces this to be 1. So there is no wall there. There's no wall here. This has 2 walls. Oh, that fails. No, it's not a circle. Okay. I keep forgetting that it's not a circle. We have 1, 2. We have 2 2s in box 1, so this cannot be 2. So it's 1 or 3. And it cannot be 3 walls, because if it were 3 walls, there's no way to enter that and then go to the cupcake. So this has to be 1 wall. So this is 1 wall, which means these are not walls. So this is not a wall, so that means it cannot be 2. So it cannot be 1. This has to be a 0. This can't be 1 either because of the 2 ones in the box, so this is 0. That forces this to be 3. So it has 3 walls, which means this is wall. And none of these can be walls because of these zeros in the circle. So the 2 is satisfied, it has 2 walls. The 1 is satisfied, it has 1 wall. This is 2 walls, 1 wall, that's fine. Cannot go this way because 1 and 0 add up to less than 3. So it has to go this way. So this has to be 2 or 3 to add up to 3 at least. Where are the zeros in column 1? We have none of them here, none of them here. They must be here and here. So this is 0, that's 0. We have 2 3s in column 4, so this cannot be 3. That's 4. This is 2. This is 1. We have a guaranteed 0 in row 3 in one of these cells. We have a 0 already here, so the rest of the box cannot be 0. It's 1, 2, or 3. This can't be 3 because of the double 3s in the column. This cannot go this way. It could go all the way around here. That is possible. This has 0 walls. So none of these can be walls. Which means this can no longer be 3. Actually, couldn't be 3 anyway. Well, it could have been. These 2 are not walls, so this can't be 3. We have double 1s in column 5, which eliminates double 1s. 1's possible, so this must be 2. Which means this is a wall, and this is a wall. So this is less than 2, so it can't be 2. The remaining the double 2s in column 5 eliminates 2 in the rest of the column. So that's 3, and we have 0s and 3s left in column 5. This already has a wall, so it cannot be 0. Therefore, this is 3, which means these must be 0 here. So these are both 0, which eliminates 0 in the rest of the box. So these are 1, 2, and 3. None of these have walls because they're circles. So none of these are walls, which means for the 3, this must be wall and wall here. We cannot enter this way through the path because that adds up to 3. We could enter this way. We could enter that way. We cannot enter that way. Okay, we have 2 zeros in column 6, so this cannot be 0. It's 1, 2, or 3. Where is the zeros possible in column 7 now? It can only be here. So this is 0, which means this does not have walls in any of the surrounding cells. So this is missing 2 at least. Walls, so this cannot be 3. Can it enter here? The answer is no, because if it enters here, it either goes down here or it goes here. Both of these are 0. So it must go around here. Okay. So it has to go around here. It has to go around here. So then the path is this way. So again, it has to enter in through here, here, or here. We're not sure which. This has one wall, so none of these cells have walls. Okay, that's fine. Remaining digits in column 4 are 0, 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, 0, 1, and 2. And this can't be 0 because of the double zeros in the row. This can't be 0 either because of the double zeros in the row, so it's 1, 2, or 3. Remaining digits in 0, 1, 2, 3. That's fine. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's fine. Okay, again, it cannot go here. The reason why is that would be 2 at minimum with 0 and 0. That doesn't add up to 3, so it has to go this way. So it must go that way. Let's remove the red. It's just harder to see. You could have this going this way if this is 3. Oh, but it enters in, so this can't be 3. So it cannot go this way. It has to go down again. So this is 1, right? Because this is not a wall, this is not a wall, this is not a wall. So we have to have 1 here. This must then be 2. Otherwise, it doesn't fulfill the criteria of adding to 3. This is 1 or 2, we're not sure. This is 2, so it must go either here and the other one is a wall, but we don't know which way it goes. Where is the only other one? In column 8. It has to be here. So this is 1. Which means none of these can be walls here. So therefore it must connect to here because this can't be wall. So no wall here, no wall here, no wall here. Right. These are not walls. No wall here. I guess we can mark those. It's harder to see, though. I don't know. I'll just, yeah, any red or whatever we assume is not, anything on the edges which are not a black thing are not walls, right? Obviously. So this is 1, 2, so this has to go through this way. This must be a wall here because we need 2 walls there. This is 1. It cannot go down to 0, so it must go this way. So this cannot be 1 because it must add up to at least 3. So it's 2 or 3 there. This is 1 also. That's satisfied. This is 0. Oh. This has... Well, we don't know. Oh, this has to be 1. Because if it's not 1 here, we have 3 cells that are not walls. So therefore, it has to be 1. And then this must be a wall here. So this is wall there. That's 1. We have 2 1s in box 4, which eliminates the 1s in the rest of the box. So this can't be 1. It's 2. This can't be 2 because of the 2 2s in the box, so that's 3. So the 2 has 2 walls on it, so that's a wall. Okay. We have 1, 2, and 3 here. This must be a combination of 1, 2, and 3 here. So this is guaranteed to be 2 then, I think, because if it's not 2, can't be 1 because 1 and 1 don't add up to at least 3. If we try to have 3 here, it's stuck. So this has to be 2. Yeah, this has to be 2. And that's 2 2s in column 7, so this is 1 3 as a pair. So one of these has to be 1 as an open. The other one must be closed as a wall. So that's only one wall, so we need another wall here. So this is a wall there. And it must go to the other one where it's not going. We have 2 2s in box 6, which eliminates 2 in the rest of the box. So this becomes a 1 3 pair. So 2 of these have to be 3. Can this ever be 1? If this is 1, that means both of these would be open, but then this would have to be 3. And that's not possible because we already have 2 openings here because this is 1. So this can't be 1, this has to be 3. So since this is 3, this has to be 1. This 3 has to be closed on all its sides. So this already has 2 walls, so it cannot be 1, it must be 3, which forces this to be 1 here. Wait, that fails. Not good. Huh. I think it's... Shoot. Huh. I don't know where I made the error. That's the problem. 3 means these are all closed off, so this has to be 3, that has to be 1, but then this closes all these off. Hey. Don't like it. Okay. I need to figure out where I made the mistake. Okay, so... Again, everything on the edge has to be at least 1 in a circle. And the corners are only 2 and 3 because we have 2 edges at least on its side. This is less than that, so it cannot be 3. This is less than that, so there can't be 0. So the zeros in row 1 have to be there. This is greater than that, so this can't be 3. This can't be 1. This could be 1, 2, or 3. That's fine. This is greater than that, and it cannot be 0. So this is 1 or 2. This is 2 or 3. This is greater than that, which is greater than that. This is 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, because it's greater than that. 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. This is greater than that. Cannot be 3, so it's 2 or 3 here. This is greater than that, so it's 1, 2, 3, and therefore this is 0. We have 0 here and 0 here. This is greater than that, which is greater than that. So we have 0, 1, 1, 2, or 2, 3. Therefore, we have double zeros here, which eliminates 0 in the rest of the box. So this can't be 0, this can't be 1, because it must be greater than a non-zero digit. This is 1, 2, or 3. This must be greater than that. 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. Again, this has to get to the cupcake, it has to go through here. So it must go this way. Therefore, this is 2, which is greater than 1. This can never be 3. So this has to go... So this is 1. So there's no walls here. This is 2, so this is no walls here. This cannot be 3 because it can't exit out then. Neither of these are walls. So this is 2 at most. Where are the 3s in row 1? It has to be here and here. So this is 3, this is 3. This has a 3, so that has 3 walls around it. So, and the one that's not a wall is the door, and it must go through that. These don't add up to 3, so it must go down here. This has a wall on it. So again, this is 0, 1, 2. This has 2 walls, so this must be a 2, which forces this to be 1. So these are specifically 0 and 3. This is a two twos in row 1, so this can't be 2, that's 1. So then this has no wall. This only has the wall that's on the edge around it, so this is not a wall. This must be 1, 2, or 3, so this is 2 or 3, but if it's 3, that doesn't work, and these are 2 walls, so this must be 2, which makes this 1, which makes that 0, to be greater than each of those. So this has 2 walls, which have to be here. So the 2 has to continue this way. This has 1 wall, so it cannot go this way, it can't go this way, it has to go this way. So the wall cannot be either of these 3, so this has to have a wall here. So that's a wall. This has to be 2 to add up to 3 at least. And then therefore this is 3 to be greater than it. This has... Oh, we don't have walls here. Okay, so again, if we... This has 0 walls. And we have all the zeros in column 6, so this must be 1 through 3. This can never be 3. Because if it were 3, well, the problem is we have two cells, 2 edges which are not walls, which means it can't be 3. So this is 1 or 2. This, if it went this way, this would be 1 and 0. Or this could not be 3 walls around this cell. And then there would be 1 and 0, which adds up to 1 only. So this cannot go this way. This path has to go this way. Also, yeah, we know this is not a wall because it sees only 1. Therefore, this can't be 3. This is 0. Which means none of these can be walls. So this doesn't have a wall here or a wall here. So this is also 0. Also must be less than 2. So that's 3. So 3 here. 0 means no walls around these. So the 3 has to have a wall here. Which means this cannot be 0. It's 1 or 2. That means this is 1 and this must be 2. So this is 1, that's 2. So this has to have a wall. This has to have a wall here to have 2 walls. So this must have a wall. This has to be 2 or 1 or 0. 0, 1, or 2. This can be 0, 1, 2, or 3 still. And this has to be 2 or 3 to add up to at least 3 for adjacent cells. This does not have a 0 in it because it has 1 wall around it. So it cannot be 0. This must then be... This 2, double 2 eliminates 2 in the rest of the column. So this is 3. This is 1. This cannot be 2 or 1, so it must be 3. And that leaves this as 0 and 0. So then there are no walls here. No walls here. This has 1 wall, so none of these are walls. This must have 3 walls, so this must be wall here and wall here. Again, so where is 0 in box 4? It cannot be here, any of these, because this has 1 wall. This can't be 2. This has to be 1. It cannot be... Why can't that be... It has to be greater than that. So this must be 1, which forces this to be 0 here. So this has 1 wall, which means the wall is here. So the 2 cannot go this way. Here, it can't go straight through. It has to go that way around. So it has to go around. It cannot repeat, so it can't go there. So it has to go here. Cannot go here because 1 and 0 add up to less than 3. So it has to go here. This has... Okay, this 0 means there's no walls there. This has no wall here, no wall here, so this is 2 at most, so it cannot be 3. This has no wall here, so it's 2 at most. Where is the last 3? It has to be here. So this is 3. The problem with this going 0 is that it has to be next to a 3. And this would then have 3 walls around it, which means it couldn't go anywhere. So this cannot go this way, it has to go this way. So since it has to go this way, there's no walls on any of these sides, so this must be 1. That means it must be 2 or 3 here. It cannot be 3 because of a double 3s in the column, so this is 2, that's 1. This can't be 3, so this must be 2, which means none of these are walls. This is 2. This has 1, so that means none of these are walls. So since this is 2, this can't be walled, this can't be walled, we need a wall here. So we need a wall there, that must go that way, cannot go, could go here, if that's 3, but then that would be 3. So it can't go that way, it has to go that way. This is 2 or 3 here. Because it has to add up to at least 3. This is 1, 2, or 3 here. This has 1, so that's done. This cannot be 3 because then it's just stuck. So this has to be 2. And we have the same problem then. We have double 2s in box 6, which means there's no more 2s. We have double 2s in column 7. Double 1s here, so this must be 2. Ugh. Same problem. One of these is 1, one of these is 3. Eesh. I think it's the same problem. No 1s here because of the double 1s in the row. Yeah, the problem if this is 1, it has to go 1, and then it's blocked. One of these is guaranteed to be 3. So because one of those is guaranteed to be 3, that means the... How does that work? Too many circles. If one of those is guaranteed to be 3... So say that's 3. Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't a contradiction, actually. So say this was 1. If this is 1, then all of these are free, but this can't be 1 because of the double ones in the box. So it must be 3, but then this is open. This is not a wall. So then we have 2 non-walls around this 3 cell, which means it can't be 3. So that's a contradiction. So this must be 3 here, which means these are walls. And since this is 3, this has to be 3, and this must be 1. Well, that means this is a wall, and these cannot be walls. Since this can't be walled, this must be wall here. This is 3, and this must be 1, but the wall is only here. That's why it's not a contradiction. So these are not walls here. This must go to 2 to 1 here. It cannot go to 0, so it must go to that, which must be 2. So this is 2, which forces this to be 3 here in this box. Cannot go this way, because it would be going the wrong way in a one-way door. Can't go this way, because then the 1 goes to 0, which doesn't add up to 3, so it has to go this way. So it has to go here to here, because again, cannot cross its path. Cannot go through the one-way door, so it has to go there. So let's just double check. So this has 3 walls, this has 1, this has 2, this has 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 0, 1 wall, 2 walls, 3 walls, 3 walls, 1, 0, 0, 2 walls, 1 wall, 2 walls, 1 wall, 2 walls, 1 wall here to 3. Cannot go to the 0 because then again it would have to go to 0, 3 or 0, 0. So this has to go this way. So this has to go that way. Cannot be 0 there, obviously. Well, could be 0 there, actually. These are 0 through 3. Where's the only one in row 8? It has to be here. So this is 1, which means all of these are not walls. We have 2 1s in row 6, so this cannot be 1 here. So this, again, 3s eliminate 3s in column 4, so this can't be 3, this is 2. No 3 here. We have 0, 1, and 2. This can't be 1 because of double 1s in the row. This has 1 cell, so this can't be 0. 1 wall, sorry, so that can't be 0. Where are the 3s in row 6? Can't be here because of double 3s in the column. Can't be here because it's less than that. And can't be here. This double 3 eliminates 3 here. So they have to be both here. So this is double 3s. Which means this has 3 walls. We have 0 and 2, so this has to be 3. We don't know where the other wall is. So that's 3 in the corner. We celebrate because we're getting closer to solving this. Where are the zeros in column 1? Can't be here, can't be here because of the circles. This can't be because it has to add up to at least 3 with this cell. So this must be 0 here and 0 here. Which means this can't be 0 here because of the double zeros in the row. So this is 2. We have double 2s in column 4, so the rest of the column cannot be 2, so this must be 1. This is 0. This is 0. 0 and 2 does not add up to 3, so it must be 0 and 3 adding up to 3 along the path. These are not walls, though. So we have 2 non-walls here. This must have 2 walls in the remaining edges. Three cannot go up to 3 because then it would be stuck because then there would be 3 walls. So this must continue. Cannot go this way because that would be 1 and 0 adding up, so it has to go this way. So it has to go here. If we tried to go here, it would have to go to the 0 here, and that would, therefore, this would be 3, but then there would not be 3 walls around it, so it has to go this way. Can't do something funky like that, because then you still have the same problem with this. The 3 cannot go to the 0, because then it would go to 1 or 2, so it has, and it cannot go here because it would get blocked, so it has to go this way. This can't be, we have 1 and 2 only remaining in row 5. Remaining digits in row 4 are 2 and 3. Because we have 0 and 1 doubly counted for. This is 3, so this can't be 3 in the remaining digits in row 7. So it's 1 or 2 here. We have a 3 here. We need a 0. No, we have double zeros in column 2, so this cannot be 0. Where is the 0 remaining in row 3? It has to be here. So this is 0. Which means no walls here. So this does not have walls in either of these 2 cells, so this has to be 2, which makes this 3. So then we have wall here, cannot go this way, it must go this way. And then cannot go this way because 0 and 2 at most adds up to only 2. So it has to go this way. So this must be a 3. This then has to be 2 for the remaining digits. That's 2 2s in column 3. So this can't be 2, this is 1. So that's 1 wall. This has 1 wall, so there are no more walls around it. This has 2 walls, so it has to be specifically these 2. So then this is connecting this way, and that's the path. This has 1 wall. So none of these are walls. This has 3 walls, and this can't be a wall this way. So this has to be wall and wall there. So this is not wall. This is not wall here. So this must be wall here. So this is a 1, and that's 2. 1, we have 2 here. So this is 1 and 2 here. This is 1. So none of those are walls. None of these are walls, so this must be a wall here. So let's just double check all the circles. Well, let's actually just add the path. 4, 3, 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 6, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 4, and 3. So the path is fine. Now let's do the circles. This has two edges, one wall, sorry, 2 walls, 1 wall, 2 walls, 3 walls, 1 wall here, 1 wall here, 0 walls, 0 walls, 3 walls here, 2 walls here, 1 wall here, 2 walls here, 0 walls here, 1 wall here, 2 walls here, 0 walls around this, 1 wall here, 2 walls here, 1 wall here, 3 walls here, 2 walls here, 0 walls here, and 1 wall here. 2 walls here, 1 wall here, 1 wall here, 0 walls here, 3 walls here, 3 walls here, 2 walls here, 3 walls here, 2 walls here, 0 walls here, 1 wall here, 2 walls here, 1 wall here. This is 1 wall here, 0 walls here, 1 wall here, 3 walls here, 1 wall here, 1 wall here, 2 walls here. And then we have the greater than signs. 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 1, 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 0, 3 is greater than 2, 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 1, which is greater than 0. 3 is greater than 2, 2 is greater than 0, and that's it. And 3 is greater than 0. So let's just satisfy that. That's 1. December 31st, 2025. Sitting there in the attic in front of the finished maze, I somehow felt more connected to him than ever. I thought about how much I miss having someone in my life who understands me as well as he did, and how bizarre it is to identify with a rat who lived half a century ago. As I pondered this, a sudden loud noise took me by surprise, an odd electrical whirring sound coming from directly below me, where I could see a blue light was now glimmering up through the gap in the floorboards. Realizing one of these floorboards was loose, I lifted it with a rush of excitement, feeling like a kid again. And there beneath the floor I saw it. 3 extraordinary devices lined up in a row, one of which was glowing bright blue, illuminating the notebook beneath it and the words on its cover. Phase 3. Yeah, very cool little interesting puzzle. I don't know, I messed this part up. Well, actually, it didn't really mess it up. I just, made an assumption and thought I had made a mistake. But it turns out I had not. So, yeah, pretty nice little puzzle that we had. Obviously not quite the same as normal Sudoku, but interesting little variant with the double digits as possibilities. And the walls, too. The circle walls definitely led to certain constraints. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.